2 nights of SummerSlam. It was announced yesterday, I'm pretty sure, that SummerSlam will begin to be 2 nights starting in 2026. No, there is not a location yet for 2026, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think
see
it was
one.
Minneapolis. It's
Oh,
Minnesota.
it is in Minneapolis.
Yeah, so they didn't get Mania, but they get SummerSlam.
And it's 2 nights.
I'm not
What do
sure
we
how
think
I
about
feel
this?
about that. Okay, so when I first heard it, I was kind of like, okay, so that means a bigger card, which it's like, okay, I can get on board with that. I think that maybe if they are going to try and treat it more as kind of like the WrestleMania of like the summer, you know, then I'm on board. If that's what they want to do, if that's the direction that they go in and they do it well, then I mean, it's hard for me to complain about that. I just need to see how it goes because like as of even, you know, last year's WrestleMania, like we haven't seen any reason for it to be 2 nights. And this could just be like a money grab situation where they're just like, let's try and do it. But yeah, so I think we'll just have to see. I mean, it's 2 years away, so it's nothing to get super excited about. But I do wonder if maybe this was one of my other first thoughts was I wonder if they're going to try and do this with all of the big four.
Sara, that was what I was
Sorry.
going to say next.
That was just one of my immediate.
Literally my next thought. Like, we're gonna have the Royal Rumble. Like, each Rumble ends the show, so you have like a women's night and a men's night.
Yeah, that's
ladies' night.
That's what I was thinking, and I kind of don't hate that idea simply because it makes those feel more important. And I get why people don't like it because it's like, okay, well, WrestleMania is supposed to be different and special, and that's why it's 2 nights, and it feels like that is the only show that should be 2 nights. But I feel like if they're going to try and add more shows to be 2 nights, then it makes the most sense for it to be the big four. And as a fan, like, yeah, it sucks because, you know, it's going to be expensive, but it's kind of like, okay, you get more shows to go to. Like if if SummerSlam comes to your city, like you have 2 nights of SummerSlam, like that's kind of cool.
That is,
you know,
cool.
So yeah, I'm curious to see if that's what it becomes. So, because I mean, this would mean in 2026, that's 2 pay-per-views or 2 PLEs that are 2 nights. So I'm like, I wonder when they announce, like, you know, when the next when the other ones like Survivor Series, like if that is that going to be 2 nights? Is the Royal Rumble going to be 2
that's the thing.
nights?
Like what it was with Survivor Series is 2 nights is weird.
I think the Royal Rumble being 2 nights is kind of weird, but I can kind of get on board with that because like each Rumble match is always over an hour. That's a long time. That takes up a lot on the card. And it's almost like having it 2 nights, as you said, would allow them to have 1 Rumble match on each show. And then you can have more meaningful matches each night. It doesn't even have to be split by men and women. I feel like that I don't know that we're in a spot where wrestling fans would respect that because I could just see everybody watching the men's and not watching the women's night. That's why
I was thinking, that's why we're not there yet.
Unfortunately.
Which sucks, but you know, that's my fear currently is that they're going to push to that, which that's a really slow build and you have to do it right. And and it doesn't for pay-per-views. Like I would rather see Royal Rumble and WrestleMania be 2 nights. Like why SummerSlam? Like what's the deal?
Well, and that's why I'm saying, like, I feel like I need to see, like, maybe what they're trying to do with SummerSlam. Because if you are trying to make it like a WrestleMania 2.0, then yeah, okay, sure. Like, 2 nights feels okay. But that's not how you've been presenting SummerSlam ever. So it's hard to get on board with having it be 2 nights. It was easy for everybody to get on board with WrestleMania being 2 nights, especially after the like 8-hour WrestleMania. It's like, splitting that was like brilliant.
Lord, it was awful.
But I think with SummerSlam too, it's like it's a little. I feel like it would be a little bit more difficult for them to build it in the same way that they build WrestleMania because, you know, you have Royal Rumble and then you have Elimination Chamber and then you have nothing until Mania. That's not how it is with SummerSlam. There is something every month until SummerSlam. So it's like May, we have 2 pay-per-views in May. Then we have Clash at the Castle in June. Then we have Money in the Bank in July. And then we have SummerSlam, which is at the beginning of August. Like, that's not a whole lot of time for them to like properly build exciting enough stories and feuds the way that they can at WrestleMania, because you have it, there was 6 to 8 weeks or whatever it was between Elimination Chamber WrestleMania. So it was like it built up that excitement because you couldn't see these people fighting yet, but there's not going to be any time to do that between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. So that's why it's kind of like, I don't know if that would really work.
My thought process goes to them completely rearranging and changing the pay-per-view schedule. The PLE schedule.
I'd be okay with them taking some away.
That's right. Yeah, like they take some away and shift some,
but I just don't know if I see it happening, because like they just merged with UFC or whatever to have like the same company like overseeing pay-per-views. So I think they're going to get more expensive. And I also think that if they're trying to make more money, then they're not going to want to take pay-per-views away unless they make up for it by jacking the prices up for every other show. So they make up for taking shows away. That's the only way I could see it.
But if they have streaming services, they're not, you can still watch them.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know. Everything's about money. So
yeah, at the end of the day,
yeah,
it's all about money.